Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast with Dylan and Akram. We are here today for our review of Stranger Things Season 4, Part 1. What a comeback. It's been a while since I've touched on this series. I know Akram, I actually was the one that got Akram on Stranger Things. So, Akram, tell me, what did you think coming back to this series? Did you watch any of the other seasons, or did you watch only Season 1?
Oh no, I watched the other ones. Yeah, and I had to go back a little bit because it's been such a long time too. So I could imagine everyone's kind of forgetting, but for sure this was such a grand season in general. It was like so huge. You could really tell, especially with the budget too. You could tell there was a lot of money here. And I look forward to part 2, but as this season, I felt like it hit all marks for me. It was really entertaining. I liked the actual villain for this season as well. So what did you think about it?
Oh yeah, the villain I think was really great. It was very, I feel like, inspired by Freddy Krueger, and actually I think Robert Englund does make an he doesn't play the main villain, but he does actually make an appearance. I'll touch on that later. But yeah, Vecna, the main villain for this show, I think was really interesting because it's not like other villains that we've seen, like the Demogorgon and the Mind Flayer. Now it's kind of more personified now. We actually have like a little like an origin story now, kind of for this character, but it's very haunting. But yeah, I definitely like this season a lot. It was very first half of this season. The cast, I feel like, has definitely grown a lot since season 1, so it's definitely like a very impressive array of characters. And the episodes really like boast like a long runtime now. Like they're more than like an hour now. I was surprised.
I know, yeah, it was super long. I don't know if that's like a challenge for most people. I mean, sometimes Netflix has an issue where like they leave things for like way too long. Like the Netflix show sometimes felt like, well, there was more episodes than it had to be. This one felt like super long, and part 2 will have 2 even
Yeah,
longer
because I think
episodes.
normal runtime usually was like maybe 45 to 50 minutes. Now they're like almost like an hour 13 just for like one episode. I was really surprised. So
Yeah.
it was a little hard for me to catch up. I had to take like a whole day just to watch the season. But I believe you mentioned earlier season 2 is only going to be 2 episodes, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
or part
One,
2.
yeah, part 2 for season 4 will be like about 1 hour and 40 minutes, and the other one will be like 2 hours. Which I'm kind of thinking like if they spent this much budget, and I think that's why the runtime was like that. It was like there was a lot of money behind this. Why not just add those 2 episodes already and just go on with like a season 5? Like I
Hmm.
was kind of confused by that. Or less like to keep people coming back to Netflix since they're having issues right now anyway. So I don't know if that's why they kind of wanted to bring customers back. For sure, the show will bring customers back. You know, it's a fan favorite.
Hmm.
So
And the fact that they're releasing it so close to each other, because I think part 2 comes out in July.
yeah,
So why not just have, like you said, like those 2 episodes, just, or at least like maybe say, like I would have done it like, because it's what, 9 or 7 episodes for part 1 and then 2
yeah,
for part 2. So that's like 9 episodes. So I would have just had it like maybe like 4 episodes in part 1 and 5 episodes in part 2.
they're long
I don't know why
enough.
they got to make it so fucking complicated, like our podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna get
Like
more complicated,
more
buddy.
complicated than our schedule. But
Yeah.
tell me what you like. Which characters stood out to you this season?
I think honestly, I like how everyone has changed so much too, especially that everyone looks older as well. I think like, kind of like the benchmark character will always be Elle. I think she's the most iconic. And there's definitely like this super heroic path she's going along. And it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man a little bit, like trying to just be a normal kid and having bullies along the way. I didn't care much about her boyfriend. I'm not like really good with like
Mike.
Stranger Things. Yeah, Mike. I wasn't like. I didn't care about him too much this season, to be honest with you. And I felt like they actually kind of pushed him to the side a little bit too, which I was surprised to see. They gave more light to the redhead girl. What's her name? Max. Yeah,
Max,
Max.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I actually liked her a lot this season. I felt like she had like a lot of great scenes, especially that scene where she gets stuck in like
Hmm.
the upside down. So I think Elle, of course, for me, and Max was like my standout. Um, how about you?
Well, I liked, well, the characters are very divided this season. I feel like,
Yeah.
well, they kind of do that like in every season where they kind of like form their own little subgroups and their own little Scooby Doo gangs in a way.
Mm.
So, but this season feels very divided now. There's almost like 5 groups, I think.
Yeah.
Because before I think it was like the grown ups and then it was the kids, but now like kind of like the teens are mixing with the young kids and the adults are kind of like doing their thing too. So, but I think I actually liked Hopper's story like on the
Oh
side.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it was really interesting, like because we get kind of like 3 different stories in this season. It's like one is like the about the upside down, and then one is like the Hawkins lab with L, and then we get like the Soviet Russia stuff with Hopper. But I liked Hopper's arc a lot actually. I like seeing like him like go through that struggle, and the violence for this show was very like they upped the scale for this. I feel a lot more than previous seasons, especially like with Vecna and like the Demogorgon.
And they didn't even curse, I think. I don't even think I heard like one F word here. It was just like it compensated, the gore compensated, I guess. Yeah, it was really violent.
Yeah, it's funny how they do TV ratings. Like it's
I
like, oh, we're
know.
not gonna say the F word, but we're gonna show you like somebody's head get eaten off by a monster or some shit.
I know, it's really strange. It really is strange.
Stranger Things.
So what did you think about the new villain in this season?
Well, like I said, he was a very interesting portrayal. It's obviously very heavily inspired by Freddy Krueger, and they even make mention of that in the show, where his powers is kind of like he like invades your mind, and then he kind of like feeds off of like all the terrible thing or like your guilt, right, in a way. And then even like the way he kind of sounds a lot like Robert Englund too. That's why I
Yeah.
really thought like he was voiced by him, but I don't think he is voiced by him in this show. But even like his design, like down to like his hand with the claws, like that felt like really like Freddy Krueger to me. But then when we get towards the end and he actually gets like a backstory, I thought that was really interesting because it
Yeah.
delves kind of into Elle's backstory too. And Jamie Campbell plays him as like his human version. So tell me what you think of that.
I thought that was really interesting because we haven't seen something like that, especially in Stranger Things. All the villains like came purely from the Upside Down, so this one was like an amalgamation. It was really cool. It was like the first hybrid, and it was really interesting. And I wonder how that'll play like for like season 5 probably, or like what are the fates of Elle or something, or she could harness more of that power that he harnessed. I thought that was
Hmm.
really cool. I thought his design was like by far this season I feel like was the most scariest, and it wouldn't have been scary without him, like that type of character. And like you said, it derived a lot from I would say Elden Ring from Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like it was really really cool how they did everything, especially the designs. I loved him as a villain, and I could see why this was such grand for a season 4 because of that villain alone.
Hmm. Yeah, just like Jamie Campbell's performance, like he's got like such a charm to
Oh,
him. It almost
wonderful.
feels like a Lucifer character. Like
Yeah,
especially like towards the end where like he's like falling from grace, right? And then he's ending up in the upside down. So he's like he's almost like
exactly.
a friendly, like handsome face, like you can like talk to and like talk about your feelings and shit. And then like towards
Right.
the end he becomes like this very like manipulative, like demonic person,
Right.
literally at the end. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I thought the rest of the new characters were interesting, like Eddie, played by Mason Dye.
Oh,
I
he
thought
was
he was a
great.
cool new addition. I thought he was gonna do like I wonder if he's gonna do the guitar solo at the top of the house
Mhm.
in part 2.
Yeah, I bet, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
because they showed it he's got his guitar.
Mhm.
And I also love, like, they showed, like, the D&D kids, like, how, like, they explore, like, maybe because it talks a lot about our times too, like, how, like, people always associate, like, video games towards, like, violent tendencies, so, like,
Mhm.
D&D in this show is kind of like an outlet, like, people are trying to, like, uh, use as, like, a scapegoat for, like, all these murders that are happening, so I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, I just love how these characters are like growing up, especially like in real life too. It's just so weird to see like Will, like for example, being so
Mhm.
tall now and everyone looks
I
so older.
know.
And it's so contrasting to see Elle, especially like when they show the flashbacks when she's so tiny too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think one of the weakest parts for me, honestly, was that whole thing with like those guys, that basketball team. I felt like I really didn't care for
Oh, yeah.
like that little chase. I felt like sometimes like we were talking earlier about like the runtime, I felt like a lot of those contributed to like things that could have been cut from the season
Mhm.
at least. But yeah, that was probably one of my
It
only
didn't resolve
gripes.
anything like
It was
towards
yeah, it
that,
didn't.
because
It
like
didn't.
obviously they had the scene with the community, and he's trying to like get everybody to like take action, right? He's kind of like
Mm.
he'd be like a great like alt-right preacher or something. Like he's trying to get like people to like join his cause and shit. You know
Yeah.
what that scene reminded me of? It actually made me think of Halloween Kills, when the
Oh
town is
yeah.
like getting crazy, like what do they say?
Evil
Evil
dies
dies tonight.
tonight!
Evil dies.
Tonight! And they all get like swamped. Like, ah! I was hoping for a moment like that here.
Like Vecna just like bodies everybody at the town hall.
Vecna's like down and he gets back up. He's like this, and then a nice ass song comes on.
He
That's
picks up his
exactly.
mask. He just his
Well,
flesh mask.
that's the cool thing about this season is it did like bring up like I don't know if you call it tropes, but it was very similar to like different horror movies, especially
Yeah,
like
they
you said,
did
Halloween Kills.
a lot of like nostalgic throwbacks, because
Yeah.
spring, I know they always do like a motif
Hmm.
during like the holidays too. Like season 2 was Halloween, and then like season 3 was 4th of July. So now season 4 is kind of like spring break. So they're kind of like, they had like a few scenes where like there was a lake, so it's kind of like throwback to Friday the 13th, like Camp
Right.
Crystal Lake or something. And then like like you said, like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of. So there, I think this season definitely like uh was inspired by like a lot of the slasher movies, like the old 80s slasher movies. So I thought that was a cool throwback. But there were a lot of other, and also like I feel like the like hoppers are kind of remind me of like James Bond in a way, like a spy
Yeah.
thriller kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But we got some other new characters as well. We got Enzo, played by Tom. I can't say his last name, but he was in Game of Thrones. He played Jaqen, the
Yeah.
faceless man. So
I
that was
love that
surprising.
actor. Yeah, I loved his character here. Yeah, I really loved this character here, and I like too that he stuck with Hopper at the. I mean, he had no choice. But
Hmm.
anyway, I just like that little dynamic. I hope that they stick with each other until like season 5.
I hope he doesn't die then, because I was thinking like maybe he was gonna sacrifice himself to get like Hopper out or something. Because he said he has a son too, and anytime you mention like they have family or
Yeah,
something, they're like, okay, well this guy's obviously gonna be set up for a chopping block.
he's so gonna be like stick to the plan. What was it in Iron Man 1? What was that guy that
Oh,
Jensen,
you
stick to the plan,
Jensen,
Jensen.
yeah.
He's so gonna be a Jensen later, where it's like
Oh no,
my family died long time ago.
he's like, don't waste your life.
Don't waste your life, Hopper. Like I got a big feeling that he's probably gonna be sacrificed, along with like for some reason I keep thinking Eddie's gonna be like killed off too. I don't want him to be, but those two characters I really enjoy. But I got a big feeling.
Yeah, because they killed Billy off in his first. Was
Yeah,
it the first? No, I think they introduced Billy in season 2, and they killed him season
they killed
3.
him in season 3, right?
So it's possible, but we also got returning characters. We got Dr. Owens.
Oh yeah,
I was glad to see him because he was one of my favorite. He stuck
great,
around for a long time since season 2, so I'm glad that they brought him back, because he's always kind of like that friendly face.
right?
He's only like the real like, I don't know. He's only because like Elle kind of has a family now, but like Owens is like one of the good doctors, I guess, that like really like cared about like you know her mental health and stuff. But
Yeah,
also in the same side, we also have Dr. Brenner,
I
aka
know.
Papa, which I was very surprised to see returning, because I thought he died in season 2. I mean season 1.
Yeah, I thought he died. I did. I don't know if that's like a far reach. Like I really had to suspend my disbelief because didn't he get killed by like the Demogorgon
The
or
last
something
scene I
like that?
remember, like the Demogorgon like jumped on him, and then we didn't
Yeah.
see him after that. So it's like, did he pull like a fucking Dr. Halsey and just make like a clone or something?
Yeah, because that's like if you saw those Russian dudes get wiped out by one, imagine
Right.
that was really like weird to see him back. I didn't expect that. I guess that's why they kind of showed flashbacks, like everything kind of tied well together. Which I guess now I could kind of appreciate it, like as the
Hmm.
experience of watching it. Which is cool. I want to see like the dynamics between Elle and him a little bit more. Like
Hmm.
now will things kind of heal up? Will she think about the greater good or something like that? I
Hmm.
don't know.
Well, that's why
But
I like seeing like Brenner and Owens together, because it's like the
yeah,
two halves of a coin. Like they're
yeah,
like, one really cares about you, and then like the other one just really is trying to like manipulate you to like see your full potential. Like that scene where like Owens Eller in the diner kind of made me think of like Yoda and Luke like a little
Mm.
bit like you must complete the training before before you save your friends.
Truly remarkable.
Yeah.
But that's so true, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. I wonder what's gonna happen with the army too, because the army is like a major pain in the ass this
Oh
season
yeah.
as well. That was a great scene too. That was a wonderful scene when the army just showed up and
Hmm.
um
In Joyce's
there
house.
you go,
Yeah.
exactly. At Joyce's house.
The army
That
just showed up at roll credits.
that was really violent. That was I loved that scene though. That was like so well shot as well. Like I think that they're gonna
Literally
like
well shot.
yeah, yeah,
Because they shut
exactly.
up the whole place.
They're gonna like play like a major like role probably from here
Hmm.
on out, I think, because the government now is involved really, like
Yeah,
that
there's
type of
so
government.
many factions now.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all coming together for this one. I don't think there might be a season 5, I believe.
Yeah,
So I
there
don't think
is.
they're gonna cut it off, but I feel like the ending of season 4 is definitely probably gonna have some big ramifications. I wonder if like we're gonna like finally understand like what the upside down is about because they kind of touched on it a little
Yeah.
bit.
And it made me more confused because how come upside down like stopped basically time stopped when Will entered that portal thingy that he goes captured by a Demogorgon. Like why did it center around Will for time to stop? That was like weird to me. Like I'm like really wondering, was he the first like human? Because no, because Vecna probably technically was the first human to enter the upside down realm. So I'm like wondering like why did time stop? And especially Vecna has so much to do with time as well. Or at least his little like I guess that's supposed to be symbology or something.
The
But
the clock chiming.
yeah, but I'm like really confused because the upside down is like I'm wondering if they're gonna dive deep in the second half where there's just this big battle, and then they're probably gonna explain more because the runtime is gonna be so long anyways. And then I would imagine season 5 is like cutting loose ends and like saying your goodbyes to these characters and seeing them like leave off or whatever. So, but you have to have like a period of like explaining for the upside down because
Mhm.
how can you possibly ever be safe? Because and which is funny too, because the upside down resembles a lot like hell, especially you talk about Vecna being like a Lucifer type character. So I'm like really wondering like, is there any like correlation or connection behind hell and upside down? There's a lot of questions that I'd like to see answered later on.
Well, like they kind of answered a few questions or at
Mm,
least touched on them because I always wondered why there was no people in the upside down.
okay.
But they said, like, it's like maybe this is, like, in the past. I think Nancy said, like, this dimension takes place, like, in the past, but then why is there, like, modern objects or, like, why is there houses there, right? So
Well,
there has to
Dust,
be, like,
yeah.
somebody there.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely, for sure. And Dustin said perhaps this was created like millions or thousands of years ago as well. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking like it's another version of hell. I don't know why. It just keeps sticking with me now. Um, I just have a big feeling that's like another version of hell. I'm not sure why. It's very like symbolic of hell, I would say
Mhm.
too. I just the one thing is why did everything stop when Will entered there? That's what I'm trying to like really wrap my head around. It's like, why is he so important? And also, I want to ask you, what do you think he was painting as well? Because we didn't get a reveal
Oh,
of that.
true.
Yeah, I was wondering what was he painting. Like,
He
it
just
had to
does,
be
like
something,
I
huh?
was just thinking of when he was doing the drawings of the Mind Flayer from season
Yeah,
2. It was just like he did, like, a Renaissance version of that or
right.
something of the Mind
No,
Flayer.
it's probably our thumbnail. He was painting our
Right.
thumbnail to promote it. No, like, yeah, like I wonder. So if he paints something, it's probably gonna be like a deadly type of next villain or something like that because he does paint usually these type of villains, right? And
Mhm.
his drawing. So I'm wondering like what the it's probably going to be a teaser for season 5. I would imagine, or probably just Vecna is like you're a little bit too late, buddy.
Right.
But so that's
That's
why I think it's
crazy.
yeah.
Cause Will was, like, such a prominent character in season 1 and 2, and now he's kinda, like, just like a side character like Mike in a way. A lot of characters I feel like
This
got pushed
season.
to the side this season, to be honest with you.
This season for sure. Yeah, I feel like it's just because they want to tell this story. But there's too many pieces moving at the same time, so they have to like push them out. But I think for sure, they'll be there next year. No, for sure they'll be there for like part 2 of
Mhm.
Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah. And I kinda like that we're watching, like, these young actors grow up too. It's like watching,
Yeah,
like, Harry Potter, like, you see
yeah.
them, like, grow up, so maybe, I don't know, by, like, season, who knows, like, 6 or 7, they'll be, like, fucking adults already. Like
Well, that's the thing. We're gonna have only season 5. That's what Millie Bobby
Oh,
Brown
really?
said. Yeah, season 5 is gonna be the end all be all.
I guess because they're trying to capture their young essence in a way. So it'd be weird if like they were like a little bit older,
Well,
unless
I'd
they do
like
like fucking like it, where like they get older actors to come in and play
they
them.
could do that, but I got a feeling like you'll see like in a couple of years from now, they're gonna like bring them back for like a special or like maybe another movie or something like
Hmm.
that. You'll see. Like, but this time they're not gonna do the it route. They're probably just gonna hire the original actors. I got a feeling. I got a big feeling it's gonna be like set in the early 2000s maybe or something.
Hmm.
I got a big feeling. Like it's
I
interesting
could
because
see it.
everything revolves around Hawkins as well. You know, so
Hmm.
bringing them back.
It's like
Very
Doctor Who,
interesting.
like everything takes place around like London, like all the aliens invade London.
Right, I
Everything
know.
just takes place in Hawkins. But I love the variations that they did. Like you're mentioning, like the locations. It's not just Hawkins this time. Right now, we got like Alaska, we got Russia, we got
Yeah.
California. So we get like different. And so I love that they keep it so within the realm of the time period too, because it really feels like you're in like the 80s, like the way like they show like music, like the obviously the Kate Bush song, like Run Up the Hill, and then like you see like Steve working at Family Video Set, like the vibes you get, it just feels like very like nostalgic in a way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I really love that as well. I think that's like a trademark of it as well.
Hmm.
You know, that stands out the most, I
It's
think.
like watching like Guardians of the Galaxies, like when they have like the different musics from like the 70s and 80s, you just get like that nostalgic feel.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love the character dynamics. I think like a lot of the characters are reconnecting this season because I know Lucas and Max got like a little distant in season 3, and now they're kind of like exploring that. And even like Mike and Will, I feel like we haven't really got like a close bonding since like season 2. So, and even Elle and Mike, like they had like a big fight this season, so I was actually surprised that they got so far apart. I felt so bad for Elle this season. Like she was taking like so much L's. Like literally she was taking L's this season.
That's the point of the name all this
Right.
time.
Cuz she was getting bullied, and then she went to jail. Like I just felt so bad like what she
That
went through
was
this
the
season.
most stupidest. Like everybody in that arena, like that's roller skating ring was so evil. They
They were
were
the
worse
real
than
villains of
Vecna.
this season.
Yeah, they were like ha 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 ha. They were like worse than Vecna. I was so happy when she slapped that girl on the head with that
With the
roller
roller
skate.
skate.
I was like, "Don't be sad. It's okay. You did good."
She nicer than me. I would've, like I would've literally, like she did, like, use her powers, like,
Right.
"Ah!"
I know that was so cringe though when like it did nothing. I would have felt like so
Right.
embarrassed. Like just run. I would have
I
ran.
know, cause even, like, Mike and Will were just, like, staring. They didn't even,
They
like,
were
do
like,
it, like, "That's literally
oh.
your girlfriend and your stepsister." Like,
And
go
then all of a
help her out.
sudden, after the fact, he's like, "Hell, hell, hell!" And there's like two people. He's like, "Hell!" Like I know.
I know. I felt so bad for her this season, cause like, she went through so much, it's sad, cause like, she was starting to finally, like, grow as a person and then, like,
Mm,
have a family, even though she just lost Hopper, so she went through a lot, and now she's just
yeah.
going through all this, like, post-traumatic stress with, like, losing Hop and then, like, being bullied and stuff. It, like, really shows, like, how, like, terrible, like, high school is, like, when you're growing up.
That's and another thing it'll show you is I think probably that's why in season 5, like, they're already becoming distant slowly, even if they're, like, good friends or acquaintances. Like, I got a big feeling season 5 will be, like, another reunion type, but on a grander scale, like, everyone's super separate. I
Mhm.
don't know if it's a time jump, I doubt that, but since, like, everyone's, like, pretty early in high school, but that's why, like, I'm wondering, like, there's probably gonna be, like, a separation phase. And I think she's gonna break up with Mike. I got a huge feeling that's like they can't like they're not compatible like with her power skill. Like,
Mhm.
like what do you think the fate of Elle would be? Like, I kind of got a feeling she'll be stuck in the upside down for some reason to hold it together, like a new type of god, which is in the same time really sad too. Like
Mhm.
to see her go down that route because she can't like really fit in nowhere. Um,
Yeah, it's hard because she's had such a very traumatic childhood, and it's really hard for her to fit in. Because we've seen like this season how she really tried to fit in with normal people, and we saw how that worked out. But like she said, she'll always be different, right? And I felt so bad, like because like she even like told Mike like you don't even like you see me as a monster, like you don't even write like love Mike, right? You say from Mike, right? So, like, even her friends, I feel like they're always, like they're worried that, like, she might, like, let loose or lose control of her powers and then, like, somehow, like, just end up hurting somebody, but that's why I really wanna see the other kids from season 2 that had the powers like her, because
Oh
we haven't
yeah,
seen them in a long time. I thought they were gonna come back for season 3 or 4.
yeah,
Um, like her sister, I forgot her name. Yeah, there was, like, season 2, like, where she met, like, the other kids that had, like, superpowers and stuff, so I was hoping, like, maybe they'll come back because they show the other kids too that in this season, like, number 2 and, obviously number 1, like, what happened to the other kid, and that was, like, really, like, gory, like, I'm surprised they and then,
mm.
thank God they put the trigger warning at the beginning of this show, like, because the whole,
Yeah,
Texas shooting thing, and isn't it crazy too, like, the timing of this show, like, what's going on, like, in Russia right now, so it's like
yeah, right. I was
it's
just
really
thinking
crazy when you
about.
think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really weird. So that being said, how would you rate this show overall? The season at least.
I would say actually, I would say 9 out of 10. It was or 8 out of 10. I think I think the episodes were just a little too long for me. I think they could have cut it down just a little bit. Like you said, like certain scenes like didn't need all that like the basketball team. Didn't
Yeah.
really resolve anything for me. But I think overall, I think the plots kept me interested. I think that's one thing to balance out the runtime was like each episode kept me coming back wanting more. Um, but I really enjoyed it for what it was, and then, like, we got some cool cameos too, like I said, like, Robert Englund
Yeah.
actually played, Victor Creel, in this show, so I thought that was cool, like, that's, like, how they always, like, do tributes or, like, homages to, like, the older, horror flicks. I really enjoyed that. But any predictions for season or the part 2?
Yeah, I think yeah, I for sure think that everything will come to a head, and I think that perhaps even Elle will stay stuck actually down and upside down this time, like just to hold Vecna down, there, or like she'll kill him, but like she'll think like, oh, this is a sacrifice I have to make to like seal every like portal, like something like that, and time passes season 5 or something like that. I think for sure it's going to like introduce elements of season 5 because it's the last season, so it's definitely gonna tie some loose ends, and leave a little bit of some open. I think it's gonna center a lot around L, part two. I really have a feeling, and I wonder if Vecna will kind of talk to what's her name? Let's call her Darcy. The one that he ended up capturing at the pool. You know what
Mhm.
I'm talking about? What's her name? You
I
know,
almost said Barb.
with Barb there, yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag peace for Barb, or justice for
Right.
Barb. I mean, I got a feeling like he's gonna like show her more insights about how the upside down is and stuff like that. But I think it's gonna center a lot around L, and I think we're gonna see a lot about Hopper as well. I hope they don't concentrate too long with him like trying to come back to America. I hope they just kind of like, you know, he's already back, so we could get more time with him and like possibly see a reunion with L. That's what I think, but let
Mhm.
us know what you think.
Well, I definitely feel like they're setting it up where, like, they're gonna be going into the Upside Down now,
Oh
because
yeah.
most of the seasons has been, like, the Upside Down's been affecting their world, but now it's kinda like they have to go inside. It's kinda like a journey through hell almost,
Mm.
where they have to, fight the devil in a way. So I feel like Elle, now that she knows what, um Vecna is, like, she's gonna try and stop, and then I think, like, Brenner and Owens are gonna push her to her limits. Maybe she's gonna have, or she's gonna reach, like, a new potential with her powers now. I really just wanna see superpowered kids, like, join up, like like it's fucking, like, Umbrella Academy or something, because
Right.
they all have numbered names anyway, so it's like
Basically, yeah.
but yeah, I think the other subgroups are gonna maybe join up, but, I mean, they're also so far apart from each other too, because like, was it Jonathan, Will, and Mike are, like, in, Nevada, so they're probably gonna be closer to L. Probably they're gonna find that bunker location,
Mm.
and then, yeah, who knows with Hopper? Because maybe Hopper will try to, like, close the gate from, like, Russia, or, like, I feel like they're really gonna, like, focus on, like, closing all the like, first kill Vecna, and then find a way to seal, like, all the different, upside down openings in the world, right? And then, like, we'll get, like, to see, like, what the closure is with, like, the Hawkins lab. like what's the fate of like Owens and Brenner, like their experimental programs, because like we still have the army on their tail too, so maybe they'll end up getting locked up or put away or something. But those are my predictions. I can't wait to see. I love this season so far. It was really great to watch coming back. But let us guys know what you think of this season, what you hope to see for part two. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. We have a lot of great content coming this week. We got Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got Summer Game Fest coming up on, I believe it's June 9th.
Yeah.
So you want to watch our reactions for that, for all the new releases. And of course, The Boys season 3 is coming out very soon.
Yep.
So get diabolical. So I can't wait for those. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're following the podcast on YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and of course Spotify. You can watch our videos now on Spotify. And leave a like and a share. But until then, guys, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.